Hey, good afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
Well, I think we'll get started. I got 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's Victoria. She's just hiding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got
good on your quorum.
Yeah, we've got a quorum. So we'll call it to order. We'll establish a quorum. We've done that, and then Jessica, do you want to kind of take roll?
Sure. All right, so I'm going to read down the list of everybody that I've seen so far. If I miss any members, if you'll let me know at the, you don't have to say here. This is everybody I've already marked. So just at the end, if I don't call you, let me know. All right, so Kathleen Collins, Wendy, Andy Stecklin, Lachelle, Victoria, Anton, Brandy, Karen, Dole, Debbie, Darren Horstmeyer, Jason, Amy, Sally, and then PPACG staff. Is there any members that I did not call?
Hi, this is Aaron Bustow.
All right. Perfect. Gotcha, Aaron. All right. So that's everyone. If you'll just make sure to state your name when making a motion so that we can capture that in case people talk over each other, however that works.
Okay, excuse me, did you include Rick Orphan from Fort Carson on that list?
Got you, Rick.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. But yeah, so if you'll just speak up, make sure you're very descriptive when discussing any items that you're sharing or presenting, because some people are on the phone only and can't see what you're talking about. And again, other than that, just make sure you state your name when making a motion. Thank you.
Hi, I'm assuming Jessica didn't miss anybody. Speak now or speak later if you realize that you're not on there.
Junior Rodriguez joined us from CDOT.
Thanks, Lachelle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Brian Vituli. I just joined too. Hi, everyone.
Tim Roberts' computer's acting up, so he's trying to get on. Are there any changes to the agenda, Catherine?
No change to the agenda as of now.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Can we go back and look at that? Tim Roberts sent an agenda change this morning, I thought.
Hey, Anton, I wasn't sure if you wanted me to pull or wanted us to pull it or just make a motion to move it like after we've kind of brought it up to the committee. So we can do it either way. If you want to discuss it all today, we can just make a motion, have you make a motion to move it to next month, or we can just remove it.
I'd rather just talk about it so everybody knows what we're thinking, since there were so many questions at our work last week.
I agree.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, can we get a motion to approve the agenda, please?
This is Anton. I move to approve.
I'll second. Victoria.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Wonderful. Public comments. Anyone from the public want to comment on items that are not on the agenda? right, item 4, approval of the minutes. Any comments on the minute? Okay,
This is
go ahead.
Sally. I move to approve the minutes as written.
Second, Victoria.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes have been approved. I didn't see John on there, but I could have just missed it in the mix. Is John on the call?
He's not actually. He had a family matter, so he's not going to be able to make it. So I guess I can try to do it, even though I completely forgot about this when he asked me to take care of TAC. So we didn't have any action items actually at the board for that went through us at TAC. So nothing there to talk about. And other than that, really, Shane Ferguson gave an update on some 267 funds to the board, and that was kind of the majority of the transportation items at the board. So not a lot.
Does anybody want to add anything to the board of directors report? Well, item 6A, action items. MMOF project selection round 2. Catherine?
All right, so as all of you or most of you know, we have some multimodal option funds available to our MPO region. A couple months ago, we allocated and programmed most of it, but we did have $698,717 remaining after all the projects were approved by the board. And so we did the second call for projects and we received 2 applications. And then we held a MMOF project selection workshop to allocate those funds. The 2 applications we received, one was from El Paso County to go towards their I-25 GET project local match portion of that larger project. And then the other one was Lewis Palmer School District to go towards their current safe routes to school sidewalk and trail project as some part of their local match that they need, or not really local match, but as part of the overruns that they needed for that project. And so what was recommended by the workshop members was to fully provide the funds for the Lewis Palmer School District project at $50,000, and then the remaining funds would go to El Paso County's project for $648,717. And so with that, I'll open up for any questions or comments.
Does anybody have any questions for Catherine? Does anybody have a motion for this item?
Hi, this is Brian Vituli. I'll recommend approval of the scenario that we talked about at the workshop last week to divide the money up and give Lewis Palmer their $50,000 and give the balance to El Paso County for their project.
This is Tim Roberts. I'll second.
Any other comments on this item? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Wonderful. Okay. Item 6B, STP Metro Overrun. Catherine, if you want to introduce it, just for the larger audience that may not have been in our meeting last week. And then after that, either Tim or Victoria can let us know where we're at right now.
Sure, no problem. All right, so for those of you that were not, we held a STP cost overrun project selection workshop just directly after the MMOF workshop to discuss the just over $3.9 million in available funds for STP Metro. And so we held a call for projects. We received 3 applications, and then we held that workshop. And at the workshop, we had CDOT attend, and they needed actually to request $394,250 to be taken off the top for a shortfall for Cheyenne Canyon Bridge project, which was approved at tech workshop. And then we also provided updated available funds at that workshop based on project roll forward updates. And so all in all, we have $3,450,440,000 of SDP Metro funds available currently to be allocated or programmed for cost overruns. So we still have those 3 applications. They were from Fountain, Colorado Springs, and El Paso County for Indiana Avenue, 30th Street, and in El Paso County, it's for a various amount of projects to add toll credits to, which would remove their need for local match, and then they could replace that with toll credits and substitute those funds for to go into their I-25 gap project that they need those funds for. So during the workshop, there was some discussion about potential options. El Paso County would greatly like and need to have the full amount, and so that's option 2. And then option 1 was also proposed at providing Fountain $500,000, the full amount that they need. Colorado Springs would like, and then there was a suggestion of splitting the remaining amount between Colorado Springs and El Paso County, but Colorado Springs would be willing to reduce their request, and so that brings it to just over 1.2 million, and then El Paso County would get 1.6. So these are the options that were proposed at the TAC workshop or at the SDP Metro workshop. And from there, I'll let either Tim or Victoria talk about what's going on their end.
So before we have Tim and Victoria talk, can I talk about the Cheyenne Canyon problem? This is Wendy.
Go ahead, Wendy.
So this is a local agency project, so it isn't CDOT requesting the funding from your SDP Metro pool into a local project. What happened is last year when I rolled the funds forward, since they were all state, I took a match off the top of that project, and I shouldn't have done that. So in reality, that's already been dealt with. So that left the construction project short. So we needed to backfill the shortfall because the money was returned to your pool and it was reallocated to projects last year. So I didn't want anybody to think that we were coming along taking your SDP Metro funds and adding them to CDOT projects right off the top, because that's not exactly what happened. So at the beginning of each year, when I used to send forward your roll forwards. Now you worked with Catherine this year to be sure that they were correct, Catherine and Lachelle and her group. But in the past, I was asked, is this correct? And so evidently we missed that one. So we needed to put the funding back in so that that project could be whole, because it wasn't necessarily fair that they had a shortfall for my mistake. And it was my mistake. So that's how that came to be. I just wanted to make sure everybody had a good understanding of where that came from.
Thanks, Wendy, for that clarification. Any questions for Wendy? All right, now Tim and Victoria, I don't know which one of the two of you wants to start.
I can start. At the end of our workshop, we talked about continuing to look at ways to help fund the applications that were submitted, and we are still we have a potential to wind up with a win-win-win still. We don't have the fine details established yet, or even but we're progressing towards something that might work. So we were asking that we actually table this item a month so that we can kind of help facilitate a plan that will hopefully get us to where we need to be. And I don't want to go into a lot of details because there's still moving parts and there's nothing certain yet. But I can tell you that we think we may have a promising solution that maybe could help.
And Victoria, either you or Anton, is the county okay tabling this item for a month?
We are absolutely okay with this. And let me highlight, Tim did the hard lifting on this and came up with this great idea. And so hopefully it does work out, but we would appreciate tabling it to see if we could get the details worked out, and it will benefit both the Springs and the county. And we would propose we're trying to leave Fountain whole as well. So no harm, no foul, but would like a little more time to figure it out.
And we greatly appreciate that. I have a question for Wendy. Wendy, is it okay if we table this for a month, or do you need those funds in play now that we just talked about?
No, you can table it. It's not a problem.
Okay. Are there any other concerns with tabling this item for a month? In that case, a motion to that effect?
I move that we table this item for 1 month.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? That item passes. So, Catherine, we will table that for August.
Hey, Brandy, this is Dole with the City of Manitou.
Hi, Dole.
I feel like John had mentioned to us once that there was a little concern about the risk of this. If this money is not obligated or committed, it could get taken or snatched, you know? So I would see that could be the only risk of delaying a decision for 1 month, is that someone somewhere could see that this money is available. And, you know, if the economy continues to struggle, anything could be up for grabs. So that would be my only caution, is that the sooner a commitment on this money is made, probably the better.
So Brandy, let me comment back on Dole's comment. So since this is your STP Metro and it's done by formula to the area, at this point it's secure. I don't have any notice from the feds that there's any reductions to any of the formulary at this point. But if the feds decide that they're going to make a reduction, it doesn't matter if the money is programmed, it's going to be taken. I mean, we have negative balances that show up on a regular basis because of adjustments that are made. The only way that a project would not have money that was taken or lost would be if it was already obligated. But somewhere down the road, somebody's going to lose money in a project that's not obligated. So that won't have any bearing. If it happens, it happens, and we'll just have to deal with whatever it is at that point in time. So it won't make any difference to wait.
Okay.
That answer your question, Dole?
Yeah, I just would hate to see the money get, I think that a different set of rules are going to start to apply to extra funds here going forward. So, okay.
Yeah, I think we're going to all do our best to make sure we have a resolution to this in August. So I think Colorado Springs is going to do their best and work with the county to see if we can get a win-win-win. Any other comments on this item? Item 7, information items, update from CDOT. I don't know who wants to start, but CDOT, the floor is yours.
Wendy, do you want to take it on first?
I don't really have anything. Everything else that we've been working on, I didn't know if we're ready to I'll lead it to you, Kathleen, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. So this is Kathleen Collins. I sat in a bit on the Transportation Commission meetings that occurred. The regular meeting occurred today and the workshops were held yesterday. It looks like the Transportation Commission is now back on a regular schedule. It's the first time in a couple of months that they're now having the workshops again on Wednesday afternoon and then having the regular meeting on Tuesday morning. And folks are allowed to go ahead and listen in either live or go to YouTube to see the recording of the Transportation Commission meetings if they want to. Some of the things that they highlighted, and some of it was good news. I mean, CDOT's in the process of adding back projects to their program as money becomes known and solid and available to them. And tourism appears to be occurring in the state. People are driving to Colorado. The concern is, of course, they may be from a high-risk state, but anyway, they're coming to Colorado. Particularly, they mentioned the southwestern portion of Colorado. Vince Rogowski, the STAC chair, he also mentioned that he spoke to several communities and they think their taxes are up because of the online purchasing that's happening during COVID, and the new regulation that when you buy online, you have to pay a tax, that is helping some communities. The chief engineer and also executive director Lou cautioned about the workers building projects and constructing projects. We have to make sure that they avoid complacency related to the safety practices established during COVID. CDOT is also working on a greenhouse gas reduction initiative. There's going to be some training of employees this coming week on that subject. I thought it was interesting, Nick Farber, he mentioned that when COVID first struck Colorado, the traffic on I-25 was down by 70%, and now it's back up to only a shortage or a decrease of about 18%. But he said the East Mountain Express lane is getting a lot of traffic, more than it has in the past.
Kathleen, what was that last percentage? I heard it was down 70%, but then I missed the percentage.
18%. It's only a decrease of about 18%.
All right, thank you.
Sure. And then John Cater of FHWA mentioned that the House has passed a federal authorization bill, but in order for it to become law, we need the Senate, and that's due to expire the end of September. So we're all waiting to either see a new bill or an extension come about related to our federal authorization bill for transportation. Let's see what else here. And I think that was pretty much the news from the Transportation Commission and news from CDOT HQ. I don't know if anyone else from CDOT has anything else to say.
So this is Wendy. When Kathleen mentioned add backs, they're really not new projects. They're part of the Senate Bill 1 or Senate Bill 267 list and Senate Bill 1 list that was originally put together when we did our long range plan outreach, but with the reduction in the 267 bonding ability, we have a certain amount of funding that's coming into us now, and there's refinancing that's been done on some of the bonds that gave us a couple more $1 million than we thought we were going to have, and they're looking toward the add backs are coming back in from the not next year's ability to bond, but the following year's ability to bond. So it's really not a new project. We're just kind of shuffling the deck with the list that we already had to figure out how we can make the projects that we had on the list fit the money that we have now. So as soon as that is really finalized and determined, it'll come back as an item so that we can make sure that the tip is updated. Is my understanding.
Thanks for clarifying my speak, Wendy.
Well, I wasn't sure. I mean, that's what I know at this point. So I'm hoping that I'm right.
Yep.
Anybody else from CDOT want to add any announcements that are pertinent to the committee?
This is Junior. Hey, I just want to give everybody a heads up that our business offices and our contract writers are swamped right now. So everything is going to be taking a little longer than it did before. So everybody could just bear with us for a little while till we get everything caught up. That would be greatly appreciated.
Thanks for letting us know, Junior. Anyone else from CDOT? Okay, item 8, member entity announcements. Anybody have any announcements?
This is Jason. I just wanted to say the town of Palmer Lake has a new town clerk. Her name is Dawn Collins, and she started about a month ago. And she moved here from Green Bay, Wisconsin. So she bought a house here and lives here, so in the area. So we're excited to have her on board. So it was finally good to have some direction again. She seems like she's going to do pretty good and wants to stay. So we're pretty happy about that. And she will probably be, ooh, I wasn't it? Sorry, my internet connection wasn't the best there for a second. And she will probably be coming on as an alternate to me too in the future here.
Catherine, do we have to do anything official with that?
Yes, if Jason would send that request or send the email and the request to Jessica Bechtel, she'll get the appropriate paperwork filled out. I'm not sure if she wants to say exactly how that works because that's her thing, but so request goes to Jessica Bechtel.
All right, sounds good. You know, here as she gets settled and stuff, so within another month or two, we'll get something going.
Like, hey, Jessica, we need to add an alternate too for my position. It'll be Gail Sturteved. And I'll get, if you could send me the paperwork for that too.
So to add alternates or new members, all you have to do is send me an email and just say, you know, the city or the county or so-and-so like wishes to add whoever it is you're adding as the alternate. And then it goes from here to the board on the consent agenda and then at the next meeting, and then they approve it. It's really simple. So just an email is all I need.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Randy, I would just like to share an announcement. We had our fall service change public process a couple weeks ago, and the public comment period just ended on July 10th, last Friday. So we're proposing to alter the service that goes to the Pikes Peak Community College's Rampart campus. That's Route 40. It was a 2-year pilot project with several funding sources, one of them being from the Colorado Springs Health Foundation. And so at the end of this 2-year pilot project, that funding also ends. So with coordination with PPCC's administration, we came up with a somewhat reduced service. It's only going to operate during the fall and spring semesters, so approximately 75 days each semester, 150 days total. Will not operate, you know, during Thanksgiving break or holiday break or spring break. It's only going to be operating when school's in session, and a reduction of revenue hours per day from 12 to 10. And so that was the only item on our fall service change proposal. And, you know, we're looking to implement that August 24th. That's the first day of PPCC's fall semester. And, you know, we just got some news this morning. We're trying to confirm it through PPCC that they are just going to continue doing online classes. But you know, what they're doing this summer is some of the classes are online, but some of the classes that require studios or, you know, art classes or technical classes, they're still meeting in person on campus. So we're trying to get confirmation of that. And from what we've heard, you know, we're also serving another campus, which is their nursing campus, which is a little bit further north from the Rampart campus. So if what we're thinking happens, we'll still need to provide service to that because it's kind of a hands-on type of program. They need to be there to learn nursing strategies and all of that. So, but all things going the way we think they're going, that will happen on August 24th. And then also, the other addition, this was through a public process in 2017, we proposed and it was recommended to change the routing of Route 6 to operate on Fillmore Street and between El Paso and Hancock. But that wouldn't be implemented until sidewalks were built on Fillmore. And so all of that sidewalk work has just recently been done. So we'll be implementing that routing change on Route 6 with our regular fall service change date. And I think that's Sunday, September 27th. So those are just a couple updates from Mountain Metro Transit. Thank you.
I have a quick question on Pikes Peak Community College on the pilot project. Were they using the buses all 12 hours, or given the kind of the data that you took, were you comfortable reducing it from 12 to 10?
Well, it was, you know, with the combination of funding that we got, we were able to operate 12 hours of service a day. And also in that is Pikes Peak Community College's students were being assessed an additional $5 student fee. So that helped to pay for the service. And, you know, we were trying to match the service to the most number of classes that could be served with the route. And it was really, with that additional $5 student fee, that's what's allowing us to operate the 10 hours of service. And, you know, it was agreed that we could scale back the hours. Most of the classes will be covered. You know, of course, it won't go into the evening classes as much, but it basically came down to a matter of discontinuing the route or altering it and operating it with the available funds. So it should help a lot, especially serving that new nursing campus up north. But yeah, obviously it's not going to allow coverage to all of the classes.
Did that $5 fee go away, Brian?
No, it's continuing. That's the entire student body is assessed a $5 student fee per semester. There's an additional $5. It's kind of like a service fee, which is helping to fund that Route 40. So, you know, in essence, yeah, it's a $10 student fee. But that gives all PPCC students access to our system, you know, unlimited access for those semesters with that student fee.
Okay, so basically it's the Health Foundation funding that made up the difference between 10 versus 12 hours.
Right, yep.
That makes sense. Well, I just sent an email to Lance and it says he's out of the office, so I'm hoping that he didn't make a decision today to change it. The last that we heard was they're doing in-person classes, but if I hear anything before you do, I'll let you know, Brian.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, we're trying to reach out to them as well.
Yeah, he hasn't. So yeah, I think I mentioned I sit on their board, and last we heard is in person, and he hasn't sent us an update that changed that, but you never know.
Yeah, it kind of caught us by surprise. Somebody from our staff saw something, and yeah, our jaws all kind of fell because that would change things a lot.
Right. Yeah, we were trying to make that decision as early as possible so that people could plan their falls and not be feeling like you're feeling right now. What are we doing and where are we going and what does my August look like?
Right, right. Okay, yeah. Thank you for that.
Any other member entity announcements? I'm waiting for people to get off mute because it's not always easy. Well, I have one that I'm pretty sure I've neglected to announce that I probably should have by now. Fountain is doing a master transportation plan, and we've hired Wilson & Company to help us with that. And I think in a different meeting, it might have been a powers meeting or some other meeting that wasn't this meeting, I asked the individual entities who they wanted to be involved. So we'll be creating a stakeholder group from the different surrounding areas. And if you want to be involved, by all means, let me know. Maybe I'll send something out to Catherine and she can send it out to everybody. We don't want it too overwhelming as we can't all get in the same room, but we're trying, if you want to be involved and have input on that. Victoria, I think we've drafted you from the county. So I think, if I remember correctly, I think Tim Roberts also got drafted, but if anybody else just wants to participate, let me know. We're trying to get it wrapped up as soon as possible because La Plata is trying to develop down in Fountain, and we want to make sure that they understand what we're expecting of them and vice versa as we go through this process. So if you have any questions, just let me know, and Catherine and I might send you something just to send out to everybody so we can get the information out there. All right, any more? If there's no more announcements, Catherine, items for future TAC meetings.
So far, it looks like we'll have obviously the postponed item of STP Metro funds, and then possibly a TIP policies and procedures review of the draft document, just like we do it kind of every year, just to make sure everybody's still on board with the current policies and procedures. So that's all I have so far.
And then I feel like before the wheels fell off of how we operate business, were we talking about kind of revamping the process for our long range plan and giving you guys some constructive feedback? And we always kept hoping we were going to meet in person so we could have that conversation. Is that still floating out there somewhere, Catherine?
Yeah, we're also waiting to do that for like an internal review as well. So we're probably going to do that here soon internally. I think the next steps we were going to bring to you is maybe, kind of timing for potential scoring criteria updates or a congestion management process that we need to update. So just pieces here and there. Overall, I think everybody kind of gave us their feedback, but we're more than happy to take more feedback if you have it. And I'm sure we'll be bringing more items to you guys in the future to discuss next steps.
Okay, and that might be helpful. Maybe you give us something to talk to as opposed to just trying to all rack our memories for what happened 3 years ago that we were not happy with.
Yeah, okay. I will let John know.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, well, unless anybody has any last comments, I think we are adjourned.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks.
Have a good weekend.